Okay. Yeah, so we're going to start our platformer thing today and go over state machines and raycasting. I'm just going to make like a little background real quick, hopefully real quick. I just imported these platformer sprites that a classmate, friend of mine made for this, so I'm going to make a new tile palette. Sprites, platformer, tiles. I'm going to go... I don't have a tiles thing in here. Tiles. There you go. Just gonna... I didn't change the name. God damn it. Oh well. Just gonna shift click all of those and drag it in. Yeah, sure. And these tiles are just defaulted to, the sprites are defaulted to 32 by 32 pixels per unit and point no filter. So that's for all these guys. So they're about the same size. That should be fine. So let me just make a little floor real quick. I'm gonna go add a tile map. There's a specific tile that I need in here. Just like a flat one. Oh, this one, there you go. Cool. So we have some kind of ground. I'm also going to set up, because this platform is going to be 2D, so we're going to set up 2D physics with Unity, which we've been disabling the gravity on everything, but it should still be in our project settings. If we go to physics 2D, it should still be regular gravity. So theoretically is always there. We just set gravity scale to 0 in our other micro games. Make a little test enemy. We have this little farmer guy. I'm gonna set his base thing to that one. Over here. Give him a rigid body 2D and a collider 2D. Make it a little smaller. I'm going to add him to the enemy tag and the enemy layer. Because when we're checking for raycasts, we're going to check for only the enemy layer. Wait. No, scratch that. The enemies are going to check for the wall layer, probably, in this case, which we don't have yet. Okay, there you go. Sorry. Yeah. So we're going to make these have colliders on them. But I heard Discord go off. Oh, I did. Shit. For the tile map, we're going to add a tile map collider 2D. Okay. Oh, actually, instead of a box collider, I'm gonna instead do a whatchamacallit. It's not sphere collider. It's capsule collider. There you go. And that's because some weird stuff happens with Unity sometimes where, see how these are each their own little boxes? If you have a box collider, then sometimes it can catch on the little corner of another collider and then stop the dude from moving. So we're gonna just use a round one so it doesn't break a little bit. gonna change the X. That should be good. This way, because it's rounded, it's not gonna catch on the edges of stuff. Also gonna freeze the rotation immediately. I know it's gonna break immediately. So immediately if we play it, it should just fall down. If we pick up the enemy, it should just fall down. Yeah. I'm gonna make a new folder for platformer stuff. First, we need an enemy controller. And I went over inheritance before, so we're going to have a base enemy class, and our specific enemies are going to inherit from this class. So let me see. So our base enemies are going to have, let's see. HP, max HP. I'm gonna give him a speed. Let's do this. I'm gonna give them a walk speed and a run speed. So when they're patrolling around the map, they're just gonna have a regular speed, and then if they see you, they're gonna start chasing you a little faster. Why is this not?
Somewhere along the line, you also show us how to. I actually went over tower defense. I was gonna say like health bars that follow the enemy.
Health bars that follow the enemy, like above their head or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that too. Let me put that up top so I don't forget we're gonna do it. Using Unity engine.ui, and I'm gonna do public image health image. We just need to position this above the enemy and then have it follow them accordingly. I think flipping might be weird later. We'll see later. It's fine. So let's see. I'm gonna give them a chase range. I'm gonna give them an attack range. If I can spell attack right, that'd be nice. There we go. Not that it matters when making variables. Did I ever use attack clip anywhere? I'll worry about that later. It's fine. So we're also gonna do one more thing. We're gonna need to make an enum for the different states. So we'll do public enum, which is just enumerator, and we're gonna call it enemy states. So it's gonna be like an array, kind of, and we're gonna just store different named states in here. So we'll have like a move state, a chase state, and an attack state. And what's cool about enums is you can easily tell what things are because they're named. So instead of, so if you hover over the little first one, you'll see enemy states.move equals 0. Enemy states.1 is chase. Enemy states 2 is attack. So it just increments them every time. And you can like give them random numbers too if you have stuff in between, but you don't have to. It just makes it a little more confusing. So then when I say public enemy states current state equals enemy states dot move, and I'll see current state, and it's going to point to this first part, which is 0 currently. So it makes it easier for us to tell what state he's in. Instead of saying if enemy state is 0, then do this, else if enemy state's 1, do this, else if it's 2, do this. It's more readable for you and the people that are looking at it later. So on awake, we're gonna get our rigid body. I'm gonna need a reference to our wall layer, and not sure what else. I don't know. So void awake bod equals get component body. That's it for now. Let's do this first. So I'm just gonna save that right now. I'm gonna go and make another script over here. I'm gonna call this melee enemy. And then in melee enemy, close these other folders. There we go. I just need to inherit from the enemy controller instead. This way, we don't have to set all this up in 6 different scripts, stuff like that. And it makes it easier for us to damage enemies, so we can just check for if we hit an enemy or a guy with the enemy tag, and then we can just say enemy controller dot take damage instead of saying if you get a melee enemy do this, if you do platform enemy, you know, this or that, melee ranged or whatever, special boss enemy or something. So we're gonna make a virtual void damage float amount. I'm just gonna put that on one line. It's gonna make a virtual void that has to be implemented in each of the inheriting classes. So we have to make the function actually do stuff in those that inherit from enemy controller, like melee. We're gonna say public override void damage, and it already knows what we want to do. So we'll just say HP minus equals amount. We'll say if HP is, I know it's saying it because it's not protected, it's less than or equal to 0, die. So we'll go to the enemy controller, we'll name this protected now, so we can actually use it. Protected again means that the inheriting classes can use this as if it were a part of its class. So it treats it as if it's public for that class only. I think that's only what we need. Yeah, that's good for now. I'll just say it's protected just in case. And then I'll duplicate this and I'll name it die instead. So all the enemies are gonna have to take damage and they have to die in some way or another. Say public override void die. And for now we'll just say game object dot set active to false. And how we're actually going to damage the enemies is we're going to jump on top of them. So if you hop on an enemy's head like in Mario, they just die. And we'll check that by checking above them, seeing if our velocity is negative, and if we're hitting above an enemy's like hitbox or whatever. Check that later. So a couple more things we need. We need to tell different enemies what to do in these different states. So to do that, I'm gonna make an update real quick. Under it, I'm gonna say public virtual void. I'm just gonna make these 3 functions: move, chase, and attack with uppercase. Move, chase, attack. And then to actually control the different states, I'm just going to make a switch statement in update. I'm I'm going to switch current state. Because current state is enemy states, it's technically still just an int. It's just an int that you can reference by name, which makes it easier to work with. So it can be either 0, 1, or 2. I'm going to say switch, and I'll say case enemy states dot move, which corresponds to 0 right now. I say if we're in the move state, we're going to move. Simple enough. Copy paste it 3 times. If we're in the chase state, we're going to chase. If we're in the attack state, we're going to attack. This is where inheritance is really handy, because we don't have to copy the entire script 18 different times, depending on how many enemies we have. We can just say you're gonna do this function, and we can just say specify what this function does in that specific enemy. So public override void cubic override void. Good. My most common typo. Override void chase. I'll just copy paste. Chase, attack, move. Random order, but it doesn't matter where I put it. I'm just going to say what to do during those states. So first, let's just check a basic Waycast and see how that works. So we're just going to go Raycast hit 2D hit equals physics 2D dot Raycast. You have to give it a start position and a direction. So we're going to go transform dot position. We're going to do vector 2 dot right times ray length. So we're going to set up a couple things in here. We're going to just say public float ray length, how far we want to check, and we're going to say public int direction. So if we're facing left, we want to check to the left, not to the right. So we have to just multiply by direction. And then I'll make a little button so things happen. Let me see. If application.is editor, if input.get key down, keycode dot p, I don't fucking know. Direction times equals -1. So every time we hit P, it's gonna flip the directions. That way we can check if they work in both directions or not. Or if you want to, we can just flip the enemies randomly to see how they work. Let me see. So first, we have to add the enemy controller, the melee controller, to the enemy. We'll say we give them we're just damaging them all at once, but let's say we give them like 20 health or something. I forget what the speed is, so I'll just make up a number for now. Also give them a linear drag so they don't so they do have friction. And then health image I'm gonna leave for now. Attack range, let's do like 10. Attack range is like 3 or something for melee. I don't know. We might have to change to like 2.5. A lot of tweaking with that, but it's fine. Oh yeah, you can change the current state because we made it public. So you can change it to whatever you want to test it at the beginning. The wall layer is going to be wall. Get out of here, Epic. Only use Epic for Unreal Engine that I haven't touched in like forever. Direction is 1. length is 1. And then we're just gonna add on the tile map, we're gonna change it to the wall layer, so it actually checks for walls. I'm gonna draw a little wall up here. Let me do something like this, like a rock wall. We should be able to actually see the Waycast. Let me actually put that in real quick. It's not going to default to showing it. So we can do debug dot draw where you have to give it. Oh, you can just do that. Cool. So we'll do transform dot position to this one. Paste it in there. When we play it, it should work. Yep, so we can see it down here. So you can see the direction of it. If I hit P, it should flip. We can set the specific position, so you want to see like his eyes go out or something, and you can do that way. Or you can do like a loop to see if he's gonna check like an angle around like in front of him, like 45 degree, like 70 degrees or something, to check in front of him for an enemy hitting him, or for the player getting in his side or whatever, for like enemy detection. But we're just gonna check for if they're a certain distance from the player. Make it a little easier. Let's try to do that health thing real quick, actually. So I can just do something like this. If input.get key down dot L damage 5. And then in here, I'm gonna say something like health image dot fill amount equals lerp from health image dot fill amount to HP over max HP by like 10 times delta time. So this should change the health based on how much we have left. We should have put it above the enemy. I'm going to make my own canvas for this. So I'm going to go to image. I'm going to, let's see, go to world space, drag it onto the enemy itself. I'm going to zero its position out. I don't know if it has to be a certain size, so I'll just make it 5 by 5 or some shit. We're gonna change the scale on the image. 0.01 or 0.05 or something. Zero its position. And we're gonna put it at like 1. Yeah, like 1 above the enemy. I'm gonna do its height is like 20, 15 or something. I can adjust this accordingly. 625 and its length of like 90. I'm gonna duplicate it. This one's gonna be black. This one's gonna be red. I'm gonna give them both a wall sprite. Change it to filled horizontal from the left. So if we check just the last one, we can see how much health they have. Make it a little bit smaller. It's not good. Enemy health. This one, enemy health, background. So we'll just drag the second one in there. enemy health. And if we push, he starts with 0 health. I'm not supposed to do that. Void on enable HP equals max HP. That should fix it. If I push L, then he takes damage, and then he dies if he's, yep. Hopefully that helps. I don't know why there's an error here. Oh, just the inspector view. God damn it. Every time that happens. Hopefully that helps with local enemy UI. It's going to break later because we're going to flip the sprite, so I have to probably set this to be the original rotation every frame. We did that for the we did that in the tower defense, in the base tower controller, I think in late update. Yeah, we just have to do this. You can just say health image dot game object dot transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot identity. I'll probably do that right now, actually, just so we don't forget. Copy it. I'm gonna go to enemy controller, paste it, and I'll do health image dot game object dot transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot identity. I want to do one more thing before we actually do the AI stuff. Value direction equals random dot value is greater than 0.5. -1. So pick a random number between 0 and 1, a random float, and 0 and 1. If it's greater than 0.5, we're going to be facing the right first. If it's not, we're facing left first. Let me do this. Sprite renderer, rend sprite renderer, open close. So we're gonna say like ren dot flip x equals direction. Damn, direction equals 1, I guess. -1, sorry. So if our direction is -1, then we're going to flip our sprite renderer. So we're going to be looking to the left instead. Else, if it's not, we're going to flip to the right. So it's false instead. Yep, so it works already. It's a good way to check too, because we can check for this ray and see if we hit a wall or not immediately. Which we should on the left one, but not on the right, obviously. So let's go into the actual AI now. So the move is just gonna check for a distance to the player. If it's less than a certain amount, then we're gonna enter the chase state instead. So I'm gonna make it easier by making a protected flow distance. And I guess grabbing the player controller in here too. This script hasn't been made yet, so I'm gonna make it so we don't get an error here. Platformer player controller. I'm going to rename it here so it doesn't break again. There we go. I'm going to find the player when we start. Part 1 player controller, not effector. There we go. So in the enemy, I'm going to say, did I name it distance? I did. Okay, cool. Just making sure. I'm going to go distance equals vector 2 dot distance from me to player. Damn it. As long as it's going to be protected so we can actually access it. Player dot transform dot position. Say if distance is less than or equal to chase range, then we're going to change our state. We're going to do current state equals enemy states dot chase. Then we'll say if we're not doing any of those, we're going to just add force to vector 2 dot right times direction times speed. And this is where we want to do our raycast in the direction we're facing. So I'm gonna copy this. I guess I'll keep this in there, that's fine. I'm gonna copy this over to the melee enemy. I'm gonna say raycast is physics 3D raycast to the right times direction times wavelength. I'm gonna say if hit dot collider is not equal to null. If we hit something, then direction times equals -1. I'm gonna make a player just so we can not get thrown an error for checking the distance. Idle, give me that one. I'm just gonna put him way the hell over here. Give him some more ground to walk on. That's not the right sprite. I'm gonna use the drag tool. There we go. So this guy should have the player controller. This guy should have the rigid body 2D. He should have a capsule collider 2D, which we gotta make a little skinnier. Vertical or horizontal, weird. I think that's good for now, hopefully. If I play it, he should be able to find it. Oh, that's good. And why is he doing that? Because we're not checking the layer mask right. That's why he's not working. Cool. So let's see. 1F I guess is a length, and we can do I named the layer mask something up here. Let's see. Wall layer. There we go. Let's see if that works. Because the raycast starts inside of him, and it counts that as hitting a collider. So it's still breaking. Cool. Let's do something else then. I'll give these the wall tag. And I'll do, shit, what did I do last time? Ray length, floor mask. Oh, I guess you do have to get both. Maybe that's why. Maybe it was checking wall layers the wrong thing. Let's see. Did I set this right to the wall layer? Yeah. I am not on the wall layer. Yeah, that's good. Oh. That's good. Physics 2D Raycast from position to that times direction. Floor mask. That's what I did last time. Interesting. Maybe he's just too fast. Let me see. Melee has floor mask, has 500 speed. No, so he's not too fast. And if I check the grid, I can see floor is there, yeah, with timeout collider. I don't think it matters what layer he's on. Not yet, anyway. Actually, do they have different colliders? Oh, they have capsule colliders too. Weird. Strange. Let's check frame for frame what's happening. Oh, he's just zooming way too fast. Maybe the gravity scale is different on my other game. Interesting. Do it this way. Yeah, he's just wait. Oh, duh. Yeah. The one thing I always do, I didn't do this time. When I'm adding force, I need to do times time delta time. Easy. That's why. Changing his position by 500 every frame. That's why it was breaking. Yeah, and now he's not fast enough, so I'll do it like 500. And I'll say P to go this direction. Probably still too slow, but we'll see. Then, yeah, if it hits the wall, you'll see on here. As soon as this thing hits that wall, it's going to turn him around. Cool. It turns around at least. Up the speed to like 550. Oh, not hiragana, no thanks. Okay. And he should theoretically change state when he gets close enough to the player. Which, let's see if he does. His attack range is 10, so it's pretty big. Yeah, this is 10 distance. Since he changed states, he's not going to move anymore. So he moves, and then we have to have him chase the player and attack the player. So let's see. I'm gonna still do this. Basically, once he's chasing the player, it's gonna check if the player is to his left or right and change his direction variable accordingly. And we're just gonna move until we're within our attack range instead of our chase range. So I'll say distance, and I'll say if distance is less than attack range. I think I said this last time to attack every. Yeah, I did that last time. Okay, gotcha. So chase, and we'll say if transform.position x is greater than player.transform.position.x, direction equals 1. If the player is if my position is in front of the player, then we're going to be -1 direction. Duplicate it. I'll just say else direction equals 1, whatever. If the player is to our left, if our x is greater than the player's x, then we're going to move to the left, else move to the right. If we're less than our attack range, then attack. And then in attack, we'll just do like anim.play or set bool. Use animation this time, hopefully. Once we actually get the guy running back and forth right, we'll try to do an animation for like attacking and switching states or something. I'll just say that, and I'll say current state equals enemy states dot chase. I'll do one more thing. I'll do if distance is greater than chase range, then current state equals enemy states dot move. If we're far enough away, then we'll just start moving again. That should be pretty good, I think. So if we're to their, why is my player not? Oh, player's not zeroed out. Oh, one more thing, I forgot. Instead of our regular speed, when we're chasing, we're gonna use our run speed. Forgot about that. My chase speed slower than my regular speed? The hell? Run speed, that speed, weird. It's not even noticeable, really. Let's see if this works. So if they get close enough, they should switch from chase to attack. Oh, yep. It's like a single frame. Still too far away to actually attack, but we can tweak that later. So we can see a couple things in here. We need to have a time between attacks. Attack equals, we'll say public float time between attacks. after we attack, we'll set this little cooldown. We'll say attack cools equals time between attacks. We'll say if we're in attack range and attack cools is less than or equal to 0, then we'll attack, and we'll say in update attack cools minus equals time dot delta time. If attack cools is greater than 0, then we're going to do that. So now we'll set in the enemy time between attacks is like 0.7 seconds or something. So it doesn't happen every single frame. I mean, he's still moving when we're attacking him, huh? When he's attacking us. Actually, he's not. Hell. Weird. If attack cools is greater than 0, attack cools minus equals time delta time. Strange. Give me a second here. Let's do this instead. In attack, I'll check for it. So if we can attack, we're gonna attack and then set our cooldown. Otherwise, we're gonna set our state to chase again. Set the state right? Weird. Let's get closer so we don't have to wait every time. Attack, 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 attack. So it's working. Cool. I'm also gonna freeze my position on this. Freeze my rotation so I don't get knocked over. Let's go to the enemy and actually animate him a little bit. It's gonna be more complicated than the other times we've done animations because you can switch different two different animations based on what state he's in. So this guy is a human 1. I'm going to give him his base animation. Just dragging it in. Do I have a tab for animations? I do not, damn it. Melee walk. I'm gonna do this one now, and melee attack. I think that's it. They just have 2 animations each. Okay, that's less complicated. The player's gonna be more complicated because they can run, jump, and they have falling animations and stuff. It'll look a little jank for a little bit. So if I go to the animator for the enemy, we'll see he starts off walking. And I'm going to make a transition by right-clicking. I'll go to Make Transition to Melee Attack. We have to add a parameter, some sort of condition that switches this animation to this animation. We're just going to go to Parameters, click the little plus right there. We're going to do a bool. We're going to call it Attack. I'll click the little arrow we just made. I'm going to go to conditions, I'm gonna add a condition, and it's gonna be attacking is true. So if attacking is true, it's gonna switch from this animation to this animation. And then you can set it for an exit time. We're not gonna have an exit time for this. Exit time just means after you play this animation, then switch to the next animation, which we don't want. Setting a condition is the opposite of that. We want to only switch to this animation under certain conditions. Switching out of this animation, though, is different. Once the attack animation plays, we just want to switch back to our walk animation. So we're just going to drag the little, these are the transitions for the animations. So the current animation blends into the bottom animation by this amount, over this amount of time. You can just drag this and make it whatever, nice. It defaulted to being 2 animations, so it would start the attack animation again and then it would switch, so we don't want that. So we're going to just drag it over, so about halfway, 3/4 of the way done with the animation, it's going to start blending into the walk animation. So, and this is set when we attack, so we're going to go to the attack. I already wrote it. It says anim.set bool attack to true. We need to first get a reference to our animator. So we'll say protected animator anim. We'll get it in the awake function. And then anim.set bool should work. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say invoke. When you set attack after like 0.1 seconds or something. I don't know. And we're just gonna make this. We're just gonna make this do the opposite. We're gonna set attacking to false. Probably an easier way. There's actually a thing called trigger in here. And I think you can trigger the attack animation, then it'll automatically go back out of it, but I haven't messed with it, so I'm just gonna do it this way. Yes, I think that should work. Let's see. Yep, so we can move and attack. Except for he gets way too close, or he doesn't get close enough when he attacks. Do it like 1. Maybe might have to be a little bit more. Yep, so right there's probably good. And we should switch out of the animation if we get far enough away. Let's see. So you can move toward us, and notice how he ignores the raycast when he's in the chase state, because we didn't set the chase to actually check for walls. So one more thing we're going to do before the end here is something a little, it's not too tricky. It's just, since we're in a platformer, we have to be aware of the case that the player or the enemy might be on a platform. So if the enemy's on a platform and patrolling normally in their move state, we don't want them to walk off the platform, but we'll see if we do this. They just walk right off the platform, and also do that when they get close to the player, but that's fine. So if I move way out of the way, we want them ideally to turn around when they're about to walk off the platform. So let's do that real quick. So we're gonna go to this one. I think I have a different ray length for this one. I do not. Okay, it's the same one. We're gonna go to this raycast. We're gonna duplicate it. We'll just name it Raycast Hit 2. And this one's gonna be we're gonna check diagonally in front of the player. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do vector 2.right minus vector 2.up. So this is basically to the right and down times direction, ray length, wall layer. I'm also going to debug this so we can actually see it. Duplicate it. Like that, hopefully. Do up times direction times ray length. So ideally this should be already in front of the enemy at all times. Let's see if it looks like it is. Okay, so it's down and up. So we need to... Oh. Ah, yeah, right. Because we multiply by -1, then it flips the array in the other direction. So we need to do, what was it again? Times direction. Oh, okay, okay. Like 2 dot right times direction minus like 2 dot up. That's what it is. So times direction minus vector 2 dot up. There we go. This should hopefully work. Push P. Oh, he went to the chase state, so P doesn't do anything. Yeah, so in front of and below the enemy. So we need to check for this single frame. When it's not hitting anything, then we turn around. So instead of checking for not equal to null, we're checking for if it's null. So we're saying if hit 2 dot collider is equal to null, direction times equals -1. Oops. I was going to make this one line. Cool. So for our first collider, or our first raycast is not null, we turn around. If our second one is null, we turn around. If there's a wall in front of the player, or if there's no ground beneath the player in front of them, then we turn around. So then it should turn around. Patrolling enemy dude. But then once again, if we're in his attack range, he just ignores that. Just fucking chases us like mad. And I can go all the way over here out of range. He's still chasing after me. Oh, he's actually just going in. Yeah, I think he's just going in his direction that he was before he finished. Yeah, so he'll still just patrol, but he'll be a little broken. So yeah, that's pretty good for the enemy. We just need to actually make him damage the player. Let's see if we have time to do that right now. So I'm gonna add a child object to him. It's just gonna be a collider. Be a little bit bigger. There-ish. 0.35. This is not gonna matter if we change the sprite renderer. Yeah, let's see if we can fix this. Okay, so let's do attack collider. I'm gonna add a script for this. It's called melee collider or something like that. this is interesting. I did it last time. Okay, let's do it this way then. Sprite renderer parent renderer void awake parent renderer equals transform dot parent dot get component sprite renderer. Oh, get component, not child. Get out of here. There you go. And we'll say transform dot local scale equals new vector 3. And we're just going to check for our parents flip value on the sprite renderer. So if they are flipped, then we're going to be on the left side of them. If it's not flipped, we're going to be on the right side. So we'll do -1 to 1, 1, 1. It's a lot of ones, so ignore that. So this is the one that matters. So our X position is based on if our parent, the actual enemy, is flipped or not. If he's moving to the left, then he's flipped, and we need to change the position to be to the left of him. Right here. If not, then we'll just have it be the default position. And then void on trigger. Oh shit. My bad. Void on trigger enter 2D. If collision dot compare tag I will say collision dot get component phone controller 2D phone player controller dot damage by amount. So I'm gonna say public float attack. And just duplicate this for on triggers stay. Attack and attack. In the player controller, I'm gonna just copy the melee enemy, I think. Public for damage. Public float max HP, float HP. I'll just say his HP equals max HP. Minus equals amount. So less than that die. Selected to false. Yeah, so we're gonna have like float iframes in here. If iframes greater than 0, iframes minus equals time, delta time. If iframes is less than or equal to 0. Iframes equals 0.3 seconds or something like that. Let's see if it works. Also trigger collider. And for the animation, we need to set up. We're going to go to the animation window. We're going to go to melee walk. I'm going to click the little red icon there for keyframe check. I'm going to disable my collider. When we're walking, we don't want to have the player take damage. Also, we want to add the actual melee collider script there. Takes like 5 damage per hit, I don't know. And then we're going to edit the attack animation. And for the attack animation, we're going to have it enabled. So then if we play it, it is enabled. Play it, it's disabled. So let's see. I don't know if I have, it's not visible, but whatever, we can tell. You see the little box collider showing up out of nowhere? Also, the, oh, that wasn't selected, that's why. Okay, so this needs to change direction too, which for some reason it's not. Flip X is true on the enemy, but it's not aiming the right way. Let's see. Let's make this public sprite renderer. Drag it in there. The local position isn't changing. Because I didn't say the start position, but whatever, that's fine. It still moves around and stuff, so. Did I have a start position on here somewhere? I did not. Okay. Well, anyway, it's time now. So hopefully that helped you guys out. It was interesting. I'll just kind of fix this up real quick, but I'll do x times maybe, but a float and bool. Weird. Or next time, whatever, it's fine. Most of it works. Okay, I'll hang out for a minute if anybody has any questions or anything, so see you guys next time.